Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. I'm going to show you some breaking news here. By the way, this is my pre-market report. This just came out. I didn't even get to look into the numbers or the details, but this follows exactly what you and I have been saying. ADP says businesses created 37,000 private sector jobs. This is the death rattle for U.S. small businesses, which are being systematically and deliberately wiped out. Sound familiar to you? I've only been screaming from rooftops about this for as far back as you want to go. But right now, this is accelerating dramatically. So let me just read this to you. It's incredible. So privately run businesses created just 37,000 new jobs in May, the smallest increase in more than 2 years. The small business increase in private sector jobs last month followed a similarly weak report in April, which was far below estimates. I mean, who's making up these numbers here? First of all, this is what they're allowing you to know. It's way worse than this. I don't think we're creating any jobs at all. Small businesses are being shuttered all over the United States. It's over. We are being destroyed from within. I'm going to say this over and over again. It is not going to stop. But let me show you something else here. You want to talk about financial sorcery? Yeah, like witchcraft. That's what we're going to talk about here right now. This is incredible. But look, man, you and I have already said we are going to see more fake news, more propaganda than you can even imagine moving forward to keep people lulled into some sense of a distorted reality, and that's where we're going to go. So let me just show you a headline from today again. So you got this is abysmal. And again, I will talk about this later. I did not even get to cut into this, look at the real numbers, well, whatever they're allowing us to know, but I'm going to find out the details for you. I promise you that later for my live stream, I'm going to break this down for you in detail what's actually going on here. Okay, so just be ready for that later for my live stream. Now, what I have done for you, I had something else completely prepared for today. Several metrics that we must follow. I'm going to cover that later, but this is just too much. So you got that headline here. Small businesses are being erased. Okay. In favor of the corporate agenda. Central banks here are destroying the economy, wiping out the middle class, including small business, and this is no accident. So anyway, here's a headline from today. Eurozone inflation falls to cooler than expected 1.9% in May, below ECB target. Now, this is what they're hoping people are going to do. First of all central banks here are working together. The ECB, the Federal Reserve in lockstep all the time. So what's happening here with the ECB is exactly what's happening here with the Federal Reserve, but this is a setup. They are hoping that you are not going to read beyond the headline. But you know what? That's not what I do. I look behind it. I take the mask off. You all know that. It's not really the mask that Greg Mannarino hates. It's what's behind the mask that I really despise, because that's where the truth lies, and they don't want you to know the truth. You understand? So what I have done is break this down for you. Now, keep this in mind, okay? Eurozone inflation falls to lower than expected 1.9. No one saw this one coming because it's fake. Now, this is in your inbox right now. What they're doing here is rebranding inflation. They're looking for a way, anyway, and you knew this was coming, to continue to inflate. So they're going to rig the data. It's already rigged. We all know that. The real numbers are so much worse off, and I have some detail here for you, which I'm going to cover in a minute. But they really think that we're stupid. They honestly believe that we are cattle, that we're nothing. That's not what we are. Let's talk. So, Lions, you will not believe this. They are rebranding inflation, and it's an epic lie. So, Lions, today's headline, I just showed it to you. Eurozone inflation falls to 1.9% in May, below the ECB target. Now, the lie exposed. Remember, they only want you to look at the headline, so let's move forward. This is data laundering of the highest order, actually the highest possible order, to justify monetary poisoning, more cheap, easy money, and lower rates, currency purchasing power destruction, and you name it. A wipeout of the economy, a wipeout of small businesses, a wipeout of the middle class. Let's move forward. This 1.9% figure is hashtag rigged. It's a fake metric. Imagine our shock, a 100% fabrication. And here's the proof. This is what they're hoping you're not going to look at. First, that's headline CPI, which is consistently manipulated. People, come on, man. Let's dig deeper. Core inflation, okay. This is what they're hoping you're not going to look at. So this also got released today along with this headline number. So core inflation today, the Eurozone's core inflation rate for May was also released, revealing a year-on-year increase. Yes, increase of 2.3%. An increase of 2.3%. Not the number, an increase of another 2.3%. But they think you're too stupid to even look at it. But here is the reality. Real world data shows multiples higher inflation. Here's the breakdown for you. Eurozone rents, services, insurance, childcare, transit, all up dramatically. The same here in the United States. This is a mirror. The Eurozone and the United States have now become mirrors. Consumer spending patterns show that people are cutting back across the board. Even the mainstream media is allowing us to know this. They're allowing us, because they're feeding us. They're feeding us the garbage. Now, consumers are cutting back not because they're saving, but because they're struggling. Now, shadow stats, and all of you know about shadow stats, and there are other independent agencies besides shadow stats which do the same kind of thing. They look at the real numbers. Here are the real numbers, and I even think these are a little bit off too. So shadow stats style models and other independent non-government EU household cost indexes estimate real inflation closer to 6 to 8%. I still say it's probably about 12 to 14%. Okay, that's just my take on it. You guys can do your own research. But again, the numbers, the non-government numbers are multiples higher than what they're allowing us to know. Again, even by their own numbers. Let's use their own numbers now. Core inflation, it is an increase of 2.3%. We didn't drop anything. Let's move forward here. So what's really happening is pretty obvious, and the Fed is setting this up on an epic scale. The European Central Bank is preparing to inflate even more. Imagine our shock. Rate cuts are coming. Count on it. If I'm wrong, I will eat every single piece of paper I'm reading right now. Lower rates equal cheaper debt, equal more borrowing, equal more inflation down the line. People, we all know this. Banks will feast on this. Savers, of course, will suffer. Asset bubbles will continue to inflate, and the poor will continue to get poorer. Who will benefit? The 1% and 2%ers via the Cantillon effect. Look it up for yourself. Why is this? Here, I got to just show you this, all right? Why is this so dangerous? I'll tell you why. Because most people are zombies. You understand? They look at the headline and they believe that's it. They don't look any deeper. Why? Because they can't. They're too busy trying to make ends meet. So here we go. And they know that. So why is this so dangerous? Fake inflation data, just like this. And this is financial sorcery of the highest order. Okay. This lulls people to sleep. They're not preparing, they go deeper into debt, and it creates more slaves to their system. Rate cuts plus stimulus plus weak currency plus equals a slow motion collapse of not just the Eurozone currency, but our currency as well, and people lose. Central banks are not fighting inflation, my beautiful friends. So they are rebranding it. They are rebranding it because they can, because there's no accountability. Lions, let's call this for what it is. The European Central Bank isn't celebrating falling inflation. They're celebrating their own green light. They're giving themselves a green light to continue to inflate to feed the beast. Does that sound about right to you? Well, if it sounds about right to you, all of what I just said, because it is right, and do your own research into this. Don't take my word for anything ever, okay? This is in your inbox right now. Get it out there. Share it. I don't know what else to tell you, but well, let me tell you this. That is disgusting to the highest possible order in my view. And so is this. And I promise you that I'm going to have the full breakdown for you later. 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern for my live stream. I'm going to reveal the lie to you. I know exactly where to look, man. You see, they think we're too stupid. We can't look. We're not going to dig a little deeper. Let me tell you something. They don't know you and I. We are lions. And this channel is a channel for freaking winners. Channel for people who can clearly see what's going on here. People, look, man, this is important stuff. I really, really, really hope you're going to share this video. You're going to get it out there. If I've earned you a thumbs up here, please share this work. I have so much stuff for you guys and girls. I am reinvigorated. I am ready to strike at the throat of Babylon, and I am not going to stop. There's no way I'm going to stop. Forget it. It's just never going to happen on my watch. I'm not going to let a single one of you down ever. Ever. Anyway, just going back real quick. There's a flat open for the market this morning. Nothing really going on here. But expect, again, look, man, what's going to happen? What is the ECB telling you here? What do we know from this? More currency purchasing power destruction, much higher debts and deficits, and a wipeout of small businesses, the middle class, the economy, and everything that you can come up with to allow central banks to fulfill their one singular goal, to own it all, to issue more of their product to the world. This is ancient, what we're talking about here, people. You know, I don't know how many of you actually study this stuff. The premises that are now, or the dynamics that are in effect today, have been in effect for thousands of years. And just to let you guys in on a new secret, and maybe something you might not know, it's the same entities controlling the system now that were controlling the system then. And we are at the end game. Henceforth, why you got freaks like Jamie Dimon, you know, the Babylonian priest himself, coming out saying, that market's going to implode. Debt market's going to implode, but we're all going to be okay. He's not talking to you. He actually said that. When he says we're going to be okay, he's talking to the 1%ers here, not to you and I, not to I and I here. You understand? Overstand? We're being wiped out. We're being wiped the freak out. And it's time to take action, people. Bet against the system. Become your own central bank. Create alliances. Get the word out. Let's wake up more people now. Well, the time is short. I don't know another way to say this to you. The time is freaking short. So now is the time to make your move if you haven't yet. Are we on the same page? Love you guys. I will have a lot of information for you later. Just, again, if you have yet not subscribed to my newsletter, I'm going to suggest you do it right now. There is a link in the description of the video. I am going to put out the truth about these numbers. You're going to get it before anybody else. And then I'm going to go over it later. Okay, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I got you. I got your back, your front, your bottom, your top, and everywhere in between. I will never, 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 never let you down. You can count on that. I'll see you later.